Hello! Welcome to the video number 6 of the series Exploring the Art of Singing. We've talked about the importance of the air when it comes to making the vocal folds vibrate, creating the raw sound that later is enhanced by the resonators and shaped into words by the articulators. But today we are going to explore more how the vocal folds work, and we will do some exercises that will show you different ways to start your sound, what we call onset. First, we need to understand the mechanism. The vocal folds are muscles consisted of 5 layers, and the larynx, a structure composed of cartilages, one bone, intrinsic and extrinsic muscles, forms the housing for the vocal folds. There are muscles that, when contracted, move the cartilages in ways that will close the vocal folds, and other muscles will allow the vocal folds to elongate and shorten, which will affect the vocal folds' thickness. The longer, the thinner. These images show the vocal folds from above. The part where they are connected is located in the front part of your neck, where we have the Adam's apple. And the part where they are separated is in the back of the neck. When we breathe in, our vocal folds are separated so that air can get to our lungs. And they will remain open when we exhale without the intention of creating sounds, phonation. The moment we decide to make a sound that requires vibration of the vocal folds, what we call a voiced sound, like the vowels and a few consonants that we talked about in video number 5, they will be brought together so that the air that is being exhaled will place the vocal folds into vibration and sound will be generated. The way the vocal folds are brought together in order to create the sound is called onset. There are 3 forms of initial phonation, but our goal is to find the one way that has a better muscle equilibrium, the balanced onset. Let's explore the 3 types. The first one is the soft onset. It's when you feel a flow of breath before vocal sound happens. There is no firm closure of the vocal folds, so there is an escape of air. We can also call it breathy onset. A way for you to experience that is by saying ha, ha a few times and stay on the H sound for a while. Let's try. Ha, ha, ha. The vocal folds are not fully vibrating when doing the H. They are only properly closed when you get to the vowel A. Depending on the style you are singing, you want a breathier sound, but it cannot be the only way of onset you are capable of doing. We also have the hard onset or attack. It's when your vocal folds are firmly closed before phonation, and then when the breath pressure finally is able to break the resistance created by the vocal folds, there is the sudden release of pressure and we hear this plosive sound. An example is when we are carrying a lot of weight and we make this sound when we can finally relax, like ooh, ooh. Let's do it a few times and pay attention to this pressure that exists in your neck before you make the sound, which is the air trying to pass through the vocal folds. To make this sound, use U and H. Ooh, ooh, ooh. Now that we explored these 2 ways to initiate your sound, it's time to talk about the healthier onset, where there is no escape of air nor attack. and we call it the balanced onset. There is no sensations of breath moving before tone and no sensations of breath expulsion. Try saying ah a few times, but I want you to imagine the H sound before, but don't allow it to be audible. By training this type of onset, your vocal folds are being brought together, not too late, not too soon. There is a clear beginning to the sound. So let's try. Only think about the H as in a laugh, ha, but don't do it. And then after seeing the H in your head, give me the vowel ah, like this. Think about the H. Ah, ah, ah. Try exploring these 3 ways of onset and start paying attention to how you initiate your phrases when singing. If there is escape of air, if you hear an attack, or if you are already using the balanced one. In our next lesson, we will discuss registers and the famous chest and head voices. See you next week.